at the left side, you can see while so much talk of the town was regarding the sugar players, I have taken Sri Renuka Sugars, Balrampur Chini Mill, Dhampur, Dwarikesh. So all the top four, there are others as well, but just to make a case here and compare the share price movement of Praj in the same period. So Praj has clearly outperformed these companies. Why? Because we have no idea where, while India goes high on biofuels, it is hard to envisage how the demand and supply will match each other in the next few years. There may be a high demand, lower supply, or maybe a lower supply, higher supply, lower demand. Even though demand is one way forward in the next 10 years, that doesn't mean that each year it will increase and the supply will always be ready for that. It can have some sort of a, in fact, it will have some sort of a misbalance. It may be up or down, we don't know. But a company like Praj, which is basically into bio-based technology and engineering, is going to benefit from this unprecedented growth in the use of ethanol, right? So that is what makes Praj a classic case of pick and shovel play. A general business overview over here, if you can see, today 68% of their sales are from the bioenergy, which is predominantly ethanol only. They also do compressed biogas and sustainable aviation fuel, but those from the second generation and the third generation, those do not have any presence today, right? They are still in the building stage. So basically, ethanol forms more than 50% of their business. Then they have the engineering, which is 20% of their sales, right? And they are also into high purity system, wherein they provide materials, provide the equipments, and also do the complete process, right? So 12% is made by this high purity system of Praj. So in nutshell, ethanol forms a huge proportion of their revenues, right? They are predominantly dependent upon ethanol and ethanol related projects. So it is fair to assume that they would be a natural beneficiary. Why Praj could benefit out of here, right? So the number one point which we have discussed is there are multiple tailwinds in the sector, right? What are the tailwinds? The number one is the environmental thing which is there and going on in the overall in the world, right? There is a summit which is going to happen in November, which is called as Race to Zero campaign, wherein how to work towards zero carbon emission, right? Second, we have already discussed, which is the 20% ethanol blending target. Then they are not just only into the ethanol, they are also into the, they are not just into the sugar-based ethanol, but also into the feedstock or other variables, which can also be used in making ethanol, right? And we have already covered this thing that the huge demand-supply gap in ethanol creates a huge opportunity for a player like Praj, because more and more sugar mills will make that kind of a capacity addition, and someone like Praj will definitely benefit out of it, right? And robust and remunerative ethanol pricing we have already discussed. The second point is strong order backlog and the recent order wins. So if you look at the last 1 year, it has been a game changer for Praj at least, because they have been getting a lot of order right now, which was not there in the last several years. They had all the processes in place, all the things at place, but what they were lacking was they didn't have proper orders and they couldn't scale their business. That was the problem. Scale their business in terms of revenues. They didn't get that much orders. But in the last 1 year, these things changed because of government's movement towards ethanol. They are getting different types of orders, both in the engineering and the tech division of there. So Godavari Biorefineries is making one of the biggest distillery, in fact, the biggest distillery in India, and that order has also been given to Praj. Similarly, they have recently bagged an IOCL order as well. So these things very clearly, see, in case of sugar mills, you don't know how much sugar they will produce next year, how much ethanol they will produce. They are still in the capacity enhancing or developing stage. But in case of a company like Praj, you see that the order book is already there. And you know that the average period of an order book is 12 to 24 months. So you are sure about this thing that these things will be getting executed. Of course, there will be execution risk and some will get overshoot. But that doesn't mean that, yeah, they will not make money or they will not take orders, right? Book revenues, right? Second thing is, Praj is the only company in India which has the complete package of the bioenergy portfolio. Most of the companies in India are only focusing on the first generation biofuel, which is ethanol. Praj, because of its good ROE, good R&D, they are, and their association with companies outside, they have advanced their efforts and made inroads in second generation and even future biofuels. So you may think that today it is not of a use, but when you are prepared already, you don't know how change can come. When the use of or the production of ethanol will overshoot the requirement of ethanol in, say, the fuel which we are using in our transportation, government will definitely have to think about how to make more ethanol for other uses so that the companies get the incentive to keep on producing more, right? So that is where a company like Praj will benefit. So what are the risks while we look at investing in Praj? Number one risk is the dependence on capex cycle of end user industries. So Praj has been in this space for more than 2 decades. But since the ethanol use never picked up, they had a problem of not getting enough orders and their capacity was never fully utilized, right? Right now, things are moving in good fashion, but that risk still persists. If something happens to this ethanol story, because it is completely dependent upon the capex cycle of the sugar millers or the ethanol producers, if something happens there, they will definitely find it difficult to continue, right? Or scale up. Second thing is, they have elongated cycle of 12 to 24 months in terms of the average projects which they do. And if you look at their balance sheet and cash flow statement over the last several years, even in the last FY21, the debtor days was, in fact, FY21 was one of the better years for them. Even then, their debtor days is 127 and inventory days is 91, which is not something very comforting, right? And the third and a very important part is most of their projects are fixed price contracts. That means they do not offer protection against inflation. Today, you know that we are in a world where all commodities are going up. So it is fair to assume that over a 2-year or 3-year period, you will find more and more commodity. So like them, they are dependent upon steel in making their equipments and setting it up. if they get the project and at that point of time, the price of steel is X and it moves up, say 10% or 20% while the time they execute, they are going to get hurt in the margin, right? Similarly, all which is happening today in the ethanol and why the Praj and companies like Praj and all these sugar companies are doing well is because the government has turned positive towards the sector. Of course, all the methods or all the action which government is taking is pointing at only one direction, that government is really serious to make this thing work. But you cannot be sure about any government, right? Or government can do anything and to please the sugarcane farmers or to please any other section of the population, right? The investors are optimistic about Praj because of their expectation for a big change, right? Until and unless that change happens or that positive change happens, you cannot expect these valuation multiples to sustain.